Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of XR Talk Show. Today is 2019, October 9th, Wednesday, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock a.m. San Francisco time. And I have prepared several topics today. And let's see what is in the comments. So Bartholomew is a fan of Nushell. Bartholomew kept telling me about Nushell. Nushell is written in Rust, I suppose. DP, good morning, DP. DP is from Germany, I think. So Bartholomew says, I'm a second-hand source. Maybe you should visit the first-hand source on GitHub. Yeah, but I don't get what are you saying. What are you saying about pipe? So Bartholomew says, though the summarize the command structure is entirely based on pipes. You know, you know what's pipes? Based on pipes, okay. You know, new shell. Oh, not nutshell, new shell. Okay, so stupid. Stupid. DuckDuckGo. It tries to search for nutshell. Okay, so let's go to Nushell website, apps. By the way, does anyone know, for example, on Discord, they have a app version. Like they have, they tell me to download a desktop app. So I suppose the desktop app version is better than the web site version. Is that true? So let's look at Nushell. I'm too old for it. When you are younger, you switch around shells, desktop, windowing system, the Linux windowing system. You have so many. You have xfce. You have let's look at Linux. Okay, Linux website. So when you are younger, you do that. For example, when I was young, I looked, back then there is also shell was on Unix. You have shell, original boon shell. Then you have bash, born again shell, which is a pun on the Christian born again thing. Then you have C shell because C became popular. Then people want to have C syntax. Then they have C shell, and it's one of the worst shell. Then you have C shell, boon shell, Z shell is very early. Z shell, by the way, is like 30 years old almost. Z shell today, people are saying even back in 10 years ago, people are saying, oh, you need to use Z shell, this or that, better completion and so on. Yeah, but when you are younger, you do that. When you get older, those are not important. Those are not important. What's important? The important. I mentioned this many times. The important thing is that you write applications that people use. So yeah, you have some nice features or something, but it's not really that important. Slowly. What is this? Welcome back. Please log in to continue. Nutshell. Okay, I don't want nutshell. This is nutshell. What is this? Free trials, pricing, integration. I don't want nutshell. Okay, go to new shell. New shell. I suppose you pronounce it new shell, and it's written in Rust. You know what? I can tell you why this is new shell is popular because it's written in Rust. Now Rust, the language, because it deals with memory. It's kind of a modern C replacement, so it has a lot of hacker types. They are all chanting about Rust every day. Rust. What do you think about Rust? Oh, you need to use Rust. I don't like Rust. Okay, I don't like the type of languages that deal with low-level stuff such as C, C++, Rust, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm into math, modeling things, proof systems. So anyway, Rust and Nushell, because it's written in Rust, therefore people these hacker types gets excited about it. This is important because it's specifically this is hacker types, this type of people, only these people. They are not many, by the way. They are kind of minority among programmers. These hacker types, they chant, they sing the songs, they talk about things, they tell you what to do. So Nushell, do they have a website, or is just a GitHub? Okay, so and you know what? So back to the other thing I was saying, Windows desktop. I mean Linux Windows systems. Let's see. Yeah, LXDE Windows systems, and XFCE Windows systems. Then you have white tiling window manager sucks. Okay, that article is everywhere on all of the Chan forums and Hacker News and Reddit. White tiling manager sucks. Xmonad, rat poison, DWM, and also this come and go. Like this year, for these 5 years, it's what's the hottest, DWM or D3 or whatever you call them. The next 5 years is Haskell Monad, or everyone you need to have Monad. Then the Lisp rat poison, and the what's the Lisp, the second version, rat poison. People, these are not important, not important. Yeah, these are the things hacker. Yeah, and also Emacs versus Vim every day. It's not really important. Okay, the important thing, I mean, although it's the things we like, we tend to focus on these things, which one is the most elegant, things like that. But these are not really important to society on a whole. I talked about this a few times. So yeah, so on Linux you have LXDE, XFCE. Actually, I like them. I like LXDE and XFCE. That was my Windows system on Linux, and these two are known as the most minimal and efficient. They don't, when it comes when I start to talk about Linux, there's tons of stories. It's amazing. The Linux full of pain. The Linux, nothing works. Everything you do, you have to spend hours to get it to work. For example, let me tell you. Let me just mention this. Okay, on Unix, traditionally you have this top utility, top. You type top. Okay, this lists all your processes, what application, how much CPU they consume, how much memory they consume, things like that. And then actually a better version is htops. You don't have it on a Mac, and you don't have it on Linux neither. You have to install it. Htop, okay, I recommend it. So let me show you. Linux, you go to my Linux tutorial, just search for Xali Linux, okay, and this is a very practical tutorial on everything command line based operation of Linux. That is what I teach you about, all the most frequently used commands you have to use every day. You have to be familiar with if you are doing anything with Linux at all. So that's my tutorial. Okay, check it out. And then, so for example, let's look at the top utility. Okay, so you have top, you have PS, and you have job control. Okay, these are the Linux processes, tools. So this is what tops looks like. You can change the color. This is what top looks like, and top, it's got lots of problems. And the Linux load average. Oh, I cannot start to talk about Linux or Unix, because then all the memory surfaces. Then I'm going to talk 10 hours flaming Unix and Linux with all the stories I can tell you. Top load average, the most idiotic metric for the monitoring processes. Okay, then you have to dig into detail. Like, let me ask you a question, you Linux, Unix fans. What does the load average number actually mean? answer. Okay, I can tell you that you cannot answer it. You don't know the answer. Wait, am I alive? Okay, I'm alive. I can tell you right off the bat, you don't know what is the answer. To know the answer, you have to spend few hours into, go to Stack Overflow. These days, people don't even that question anymore. That question was 10 years before, in 2000, 1900s, year 2000, you do ask, what does exactly the load average number mean? Very complex, and not just that, it's extremely idiotic, as a system, as a tool to measure, telling you about CPU. It's just idiotic. The reason they are idiotic, they are the way because the Unix, they are everything in Unix is written in the most simplistic way possible, implementation wise. Okay, like whichever is the most easy to do, you just do that. They do it that way. No design, whatever. I mean, whenever there's a decision, actually, you don't even think about design. You don't. You don't. It's like most people say, programming is a lot of trade-off. Like whether you want to maximize disk efficiency or memory efficiency or speed, things like that. But for Unix operating system, Unix philosophy, Unix stuff, almost you don't design. Everything is whichever way is the fastest and whichever way is the most simple, brainless to implement. You do not need to study or research for hours, into what architectural system. You just choose whatever is most convenient that you can implement it right away. Like C programming language is like that. Then you do it. That is the result. Load average is an example of such result, the most idiotic metric. So anyway, back to our previous topic. I was talking about top, the tool top, and there is a better tool called htop. On Linux, it's not installed by default. In my opinion, you should have replaced top long ago, but Unix people, they have a thing with backward compatibility. So all the Unix command, including shell, the way you do things, and in shell and control D to exit, things like that, they are all like 40 years old. 40 years old doesn't make sense at all today, but it's the tradition. Shell. Okay, so you have htop. You have to install it on Linux. Okay, this is how it looks like. Why is it better than top? Because first of all, for example, it gives you a visual clue. Like a visual, text-based GUI. That's what I call it, text-based GUI. So it gives you these bars, so you can see in a glance how much memory has been used. But the top doesn't do that. It's just a bunch of numbers. But the most important thing about htop, better than top, is because it can show all the processes, not just the top. Okay. Now another thing about Unix is the naming of things. All the naming are extreme idiotic, and they think, to the Linux people, the Unix people, they think it's fun. They think it's fun. They love all these jargons. Oh, top, cat, they love it. Less, more, things like that. And so anyway, so why is it named top? Because this tool only lists the top processes that uses the most CPU. But the screen, suppose you want to see more than what's after that process, you cannot do it. It is impossible to do it with this top tool. Okay, impossible. The Unix philosophy. One of the Unix philosophy is do one thing nice. Small is beautiful, but do one thing well. they Each Unix utility do not do one thing well. Okay, this top, you cannot list. You can only have the top list of processes. You cannot see the rest of it. Impossible. Okay, if you want to see the rest of it, you have to use another tool. That is why then you have htop. Htop, the purpose is just like top, but you can also see You can see it lists all processes. It show part of it on the screen, but you can see what's the others. So that's Linux, the story of Linux, and also on the Mac, for example. Let me show you the Mac. Let me show you the Mac activity monitor. Okay, this one. It's just I mean, although it's GUI, this is real GUI. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so on the Mac you have this GUI tool, right? You can sort processes by CPU, or you can sort it by memory. Okay, you can go and show memory. Okay, actually it's much more convenient, even though it's not a even though it's not a text-based tool. Anyway, back to Linux. So the reason I mentioned this, so you have top, you have htop, but the Linux people, because they do realize, GUI is actually important. So they also have this GUI based list of processes. For example, on GNOME they have one, on xfce they have one, on lxde they have their own. Okay, like each faction of the Linux create their own, because they anyway. So it's very confusing. But anyway, so one day, so I look into this kind of thing, like, oh, which one is the best. I study them. When you launch on, if you are using the GNOME desktop, or if you use the GNOME version that shows the processes, that tool eats all your memory. Okay, you have 6 GB. That tool eats 3 GB, something like that. I can tell you, because it's so fact. And then you have Linux people saying, "Oh, it's better than Windows." It's incredible. Okay, truly bullshit. I'm not going to start to get into a rant about Linux topic because I was going to talk about something else. Okay, so we talked about top and shortcut. We don't care. Uh, so I was saying, when you were younger, you were into these things. You want to know which is the best, and also programming languages as well. Like, people, want to know which one is the best programming language. Golan, Nim, for example, Julia, Haskell, and also, again, that is a topic I love very much. That's a topic I love very much, and so do you guys. But that, again, that is not really important thing. Okay, really important thing. So I wanted to, yeah, I was just telling you the GNOME. What's the version that's the GNOME GUI that shows the processes. Let's see if I can find it. So Bash terminal, Linux desktop, uh, Linux desktop, and the GNOME version. Okay, so Linux desktop, set default app shell command for GUI apps. Okay. Shell command for GUI apps. Launch GUI apps. I forgot what's most useful GUI apps. Terminal, file manager, CPU monitor, and update manager, gedit, PDF viewer, file compressor, dictionary, Unicode character viewer, taskbar, music players, audio control panel. Yeah, others. GNOME, power statistics, GNOME control center, GNOME system monitor. I think that's the one. GNOME system monitor. You can see it. You can try it. Okay, if you are on Linux, go launch or install GNOME system monitor, and go install the xfce version, and go launch the lxde version. You can in them you can see, compare how much memory they are using. The GNOME one is eating 10 times the GUI. It's just impossible, incredible to believe. And do you know? And how do I know this? I spent, you spend days to look into this. That's why Linux, Unix, they suck your life. You forget about doing your work, learning JavaScript or anything. Use every day you spend hour to do these things. Like what? Like suppose originally, suppose oh, I'm just going to install Ubuntu GNOME. Okay, I'll just get on with my life. I need to do things. But then that's not a case, because when you launch, you are out of memory or something. Then you have to know, oh, but why is it out of memory? What's going on? Then you started to just check which app is eating your memory or something. So you spend like half an hour, on average half an hour a day, just to look around the Unix, Linux stuff. Uh, okay, so that is a big digression. I have some topics I want to talk about actually. So let's kind of take a break and let's see where we are. So this GNU shell, I suppose it's good. I suppose, I could look in, I would I would use it when if I were younger, because in general newer things are better. So I suppose this will have many new features. Like like as time goes on, you try to get away from the old way. Gradually it does happen. So on the positive side, I believe new shell is probably better. Everyone should switch to it. So status, this project, something something come building command. So anyway, and again, let me mention, today you don't do shell anymore. You don't do, if you are a programmer, it programming industry practices, how you do things changes every like 10 years, about 10 years. They change actually every day, but in general, like 10 years, you can see a big difference. You don't so back in 1990s, 1980s, 1990s to even to early 2000s, you shell is a very critical, important tool for programmers, for Unix. If you are on Unix, because everything you need to do, you use the shell to do it. But not today. Today you have, you go by serverless servers, serverless something. Okay, then you have Dropbox. Each one is a entire new environment. You do things like that. You don't you don't do shell much anymore. You don't do, before used to, you have to be master of grep, um, uh, 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 grep tr, and a bunch of Unix utilities, col, things like that, cat. You don't do that anymore much. As a typical programmer, you work on something else. Okay, so that is about. So yeah, so I don't know about nushell. I suppose it is good. Uh, but let's get on to whatever I was going to talk about today. So let's just copy. First of all, copy the what we talked about. Htop. Why tiling manager sucks, even though I didn't talk about that. So close that. And the GUI apps command names. Okay. Show in browser. Okay, so close that. How to switch to lxde and stuff. Close that. Okay, so Actually, there's this book, Meowcat showed to me. This book, apparently it's written by Stephen Hawking, the guy, the physicist in wheelchair. He's got some kind of a disabled disease, and he died a few years ago. So apparently he wrote this book, God Created the Integers, the mathematical breakthroughs that changed history. He wrote this in 2007. 2007. I didn't know about this, so it seems to be a good book. Okay, because it gives you okay. You need to look at table of contents anyway. So if you like it, buy it. Okay. Let me just post my math website. And then I'm going to read the comments. So that's my math blog. Go there and buy the book. I'm not going to read the book because I'm too old. Because this is not a technical math book. I don't think it's not really technical. It's kind of I think it's a kind of solid introduction of math. They talk about several great mathematicians and their work. For example, if you are undergraduate math student, then you read this book, you'll be good. Because when I was younger, I read too many of these books. I've read, the times come and go. Normally I should have been like I'm a professor, a mathematician, a professor at some university. I write these books. I write. That's supposedly what happens. I'm too old. I'm still talking about what books is you should write or you should read. That's kind of getting silly. Uh, okay, so let's get on the topics on. So I wanted to show you this Google Newspeak, which is very evil. But okay, but let us check where I am. Stop this video. I have 18 watchers. Good morning, and I have talked for 27 minutes, and now it's time to read the comments. And it is also time for me to take off my clothes. There I am. Hold on a second. Thou shalt see. Oh, there I am. Take it off. Throw it out there and and I need to. This is Imagor. You guys know about this company? I actually went there and interviewed a few years ago, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I went there for an interview. And okay, so let's look at the comments. What are people saying? People say what they say. Let them say. Now this is the right time to ask me questions, post questions, and I'll answer it or talk about it.
magnify. Unlike okay, so I'm going to read the comments. Magnify, magnify. So nushell is one of the few truly modern applications. Okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. You know, I'm doing the video. It's taking a lot of time. It's almost like every day it's zapping me out my energy once you do the video. Even though it doesn't look like much, you know, I just talk for an hour and a half, but it's like spending 4 hours on it a day, and I haven't. You know, I need to get on with the JavaScript web pack and parcel and lots of JavaScript things. So look in the description of the repository. They describe how the shell natively parses JSON. Okay, I'll check it out. You know, I think it is a good tool. It just doesn't look or feel like a shell, more like a table-based SQL command line interface. Okay, yeah, it must be, you know, something new. So I suppose it is good. Yo brothers, yo Nebo, or Nebo. So bottom here says, okay, nushell with enough support. It's not mature enough. Bottom says there are many crappy apps, but nushell is one of the exceptions. Okay, always finding nushell when searching nushell. Okay, finally found your function. Thank God, found your functions. What functions? It might be a matter of personal preference, as it often is. Rust. It only needs 10 commits more, and repository has 1,337 commits. 1337. Is that meant to be a code word? Go routine and channels, but I like Rust concept, data ownership, borrowing. What do you learn all the languages? But the functions are spanning my init file. They are something. But the functions are spanning my init file. What functions? Hi Xar, Green Deck, good morning. Then stop talking about Unix, start a new shell, okay? You know, apart from you, what you should use? You should use Monad. There is this thing called
Monad, and let me show it to you. Okay, Xali PowerShell from your beloved Microsoft. Now, PowerShell was known as Monad back in 2000s when it was still in research stage. You, Bartholomew, you should use PowerShell. You know, spend an hour, read my tutorial, PowerShell basics, because it is improvements of the Unix pipe. Okay, because in Unix pipe, all you pipe every day is text. Well, but in PowerShell, you got a real pipe system. You don't just pipe text. You pipe objects. Okay, then you can format them into different text formats. Okay, so this is the proper shell. You should try it from your beloved Microsoft, the open source supporter, the greatest open source supporter. No compatibility with Bash. Okay. Usually shells, they are not compatible with each other. Usually Z shell, C shell, Bash, they are not compatible with each other. Then then Linux also then they also created Ash. Then first of all you have shell sh. Okay, then you have Bash. Then Linux people created Ash back in 2000s. I learned Ash is kind of a minimized Bash. You need that so that they can start up when the machine starts. It's faster, things like that. Text-based user interface. Okay, yes, that's what they call. The tech geeks. The proper name is supposed to be text-based user interface. I just call it text-based GUI. Okay, that's because that's actually more intuitive. Text-based GUI. Okay, similar VI Greek Meowkats Greek reinventing the shell without a formal design spec is just a waste of time. Zero progress. Greeks, geeks. Okay, the text crew are more convenient. Okay, no comments. That's why GNOME is known to be super fat. Linux is superb choices. Okay, modern stuff. Okay, no comments. You guys don't have any comments and topics. Please use buffer, these type of functions. Okay, so DPI says, how helpful is the help menu of Emacs on Mac? The help menu, that's literally useless. You never use on in Emacs. Okay, that's what you're talking about, right? So in Emacs you have the help menu. That's that's very rather extremely idiotic. Okay, so let me show you this then. So go to Emacs blog. So I got several things. Just going to talk about them. Okay, so um, so first of all, let me show you about the Emacs GUI menu. So you go to XRD Emacs blog, then you go to click on the Emacs modernization. This is a collection of articles that I describe Emacs problems. One of them, this is incredible. Okay, one of them is this. This is Emacs. Emacs menu usability problem. Okay, why am I laughing? Because it's idiotic to the most extreme. Now, I said that many times about Unix, but in this case, it's so extreme that even a Unix fanatics like you guys, okay, you'll probably see my point. But however, it's hopeless for Emacs to change. It's like impossible. They will never change anything. Um, so hold on a second. Okay, so let me just post. Let me get my block fixed here. Okay, book. So this is a book. God created the integers. By the way, that is a phrase. God created integers. That is of the one phrase from this mathematician Kronecker. I think he's a German mathematician, Kronecker, very one of the big mathematician. Now there's a story behind it. So he said God created the integers. The rest is by man. Okay, man created the rest. Okay, so why does he say that? This is a very popular quote among mathematicians, among math communities. It's dramatic. Dramatic. You can call it, you can say it's a meme. Okay, it's a meme from 300 years ago. It's a meme. God created the integers. The rest is the creation of man. So, but what's the background context? Why does he say that? Because back then, 300 years ago, also, there's a fight between mathematicians because like different schools of philosophy, just like today, Unix versus the Haskell, functional programming versus OOP. This happens in math as well. So back then, 300 years ago, you have one school that believes kind of that integers is should be the foundation of all mathematics, something like that. Okay. On the other side, you have people who believe kind of infinitesimal and calculus kind of thing. They don't believe you have to base everything on integers. Okay, that's basically the background. So that's that's how this phrase was very popular. This is part of math history. So if you just search the phrase God created the integers, you'll find the story. Then you click the links after link. You'll probably find it on Wikipedia. I'm sure of that. So anyway, so yeah, let me talk about the Emacs menu usability problem. So you got this. I'm not sure I'm even going to talk about it because it's if I'm going to talk about it, it's just I'm just going to show you, and you will be convinced that how extreme idiotic it is. The Emacs GUI menu to this day. I wrote this article in back in 2009. To this day, it's the same. Okay, it's pretty much the same. Nothing has fixed. And I also, by the way, I also wrote a bug report back in 2010. I've sent like lots of tons of bug reports to Emacs dev. And after 10 years, now after 15 years, I'm getting some replies. Like they are starting, like last week I got several replies about my past 10 years old, more than 10 years old bug reports. Oh, we're gonna fix that one, we're gonna close this one. That's what Emacs dev is like that. Open source, free software foundation. They don't they don't have a process. They don't care. It's just like they do whatever. Yeah, it's you send in a bug report after 10 years, then they send you a form letter, something like that. I mentioned this a few times on Reddit, but people don't believe it. Like people say, are you true? Are you People don't believe it. But if you can just go to the website, search Xali GNU dev bug. You'll find it. You'll see it's in my email, but I don't want to show you my email. You will see, the update. You will see what I'm saying. You write a bug report, then after 10 years, now they respond to, they're trying to clean out some. Why do they suddenly? Because this last few weeks, this month, okay, last month, I started to get several of that 10 years old bug reports. I did several of them. They are talking, they CC it to me. They start to say, oh, this should be fixed or not. They start to talk about that. Why? Because I started to do videos. I'm pretty sure, some of my Emacs followers, some people started to see me talk about things. Then some, by indirect ways, some of the Emacs devs started to fix or something, tries to, it's a, what, how does it feel? It's like a metal. Tasting a coin. How do you feel? Taste, tasting, put a penny to your mouth, to your tongue. Um, and during all these years, 10 years, people flame you and stuff. The Emacs people, because they don't like my, because when you criticize Richard Stallman or the Emacs community, they don't like you. You get all kind of, they attack you all the time. They smear. They say things that's not true about you. Oh, by the way, that happened on 4chan. Yesterday we were looking at 4chan, and this incredible. Let's have a look at that. Okay, Xa Talk Show yesterday. Okay, we were talking about 4chan, and in one of these posts, okay, it's incredible. These people, they they posted a screenshot of what's supposedly what I was saying, but actually that's not. They faked it. So they take the time to fake a screenshot. So that makes me look bad. Something I didn't say, they make it so that as if I said it. I have to find out where is that. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to do that. It's kind of incredible people do that, and people are doing that on 4chan now. 4chan is long time. You cannot trust 4chan, by the way, if you don't know. 4chan has been around for 15, 20 years almost now. And it's FBI, CIA, they are sitting on it. For since long ago, since long ago, they have lots of stories, political or otherwise. So you see, this guy says he found us. So what does he say? So he showed this screenshot. Okay. So it says it's got my head Saudi today at 10:37. It says fuck 4chan asshole for fuck asshole fusk. By the way, is talking 4chan on Discord a problem? Blah blah blah. Okay. So he posts that. This post he faked it. The first, you see, so the real one is this one. So actually someone nice says, why did you modify the first line? Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is my post yesterday on on Discord. Okay, I say praise the lords of 4chan. Okay, by the way, is taking 4chan on talking 4chan on Discord a problem? Like Discord gonna ban and stuff. I read on Wikipedia on Discord. Apparently, some social justice guy are hitting Discord. That's what I said on Discord yesterday. And we can go to Discord and see the original message right here. Okay. Uh, Discord is loading. So yesterday, 10 o'clock, 10:37. What? Well, 1:37, not 10:37. Yesterday, 1:37. So a.m. Wait, yesterday 1:37 a.m. Okay, so it's above. It's above. Where did it go? Yesterday 11 a.m. Now, if I cannot find it, then I will spend 1 hour to find it because now this is yesterday. Yesterday at 5:56 a.m. So the a.m. and p.m. they are not ordered exactly. Six. So I'm not this. I'm not promoting. So how do you search? Okay, let's use the search function. So let's just search for Xali. I only want to see my own posts. Okay, so this one. Okay, and let's see. Oh, the result is here. Shut up, Bartholomew. Interactive chat is much better than forum. Forum is kind of going dead. Okay, the society is moving on. Forum, text forum like Reddit is kind of dead. You want interactive forum with also with voice support. Okay, this is idiotic. I'm not familiar with Discord yet, but I need to find that message. So yesterday, start 10 minutes, DuckDuckGo. Yesterday, okay, close that. There it is. Oh, the time changed. Okay, so each. Okay, so I see the at on my time. Wait, what time are they using? Like GMT or something? Very confusing. So that's what I said. Praise the Lord. You see, you find out message there. So there are people on 4chan and also on Twitter. I know for sure on Twitter. So he would, spend the time to fake the message. What is going on? With these kind of people, and also note that he's doing this on 4chan, which is typically, So that means, there are people on 4chan who is trying to fuck around, with you guys. That essentially, they, or you can say it's infiltration. They, what is this guy doing? I mean, why would he do that? Okay, I'm not too big. I'm not very popular yet. So far, the social justice guy, they don't, you know, uh, chase me off yet, but it will happen as Mattermost. Then use Mattermost. I don't know what is that. Uh, okay, so let me check the comments a little bit quickly, and let's go on to the next topic. Okay, the next topic, let's talk about. I want to. There's some interesting things about keyboard and mouse. Okay, now we are 51 minutes. We can talk 10 more minutes or so. The night is young. Okay, close that. Nushell, close that. PowerShell. Okay, and okay, so let's go back to the messages. And today's drink is apple juice. Okay, today's drink is apple juice. Okay, you can see it. How do I join Discord? Oh yeah, glad you asked, Justine. Good morning, Justine. So actually, I have. If you go to my Xar Talk Show page, I put it in a proper place on top. So you see this is the Discord link. So I think it's Discord is kind of fun. So there it is. Uh, so okay, so let me read the comments. Then I go back to my topics. So if you want an interactive chat with Mattermost, then use Mattermost. Bartholomew, if you recommend that, just post the URL because I don't know what that is and nobody, other people. So if you just post the URL directly, don't worry. But basically, curb on Discord maybe still better than. The thing is, Bartholomew, like you have to get on into the mainstream. You have to fight there, not run into a sewage like a club, a underground club. That's what you are doing. Part of it, at least. That's your mentality. You're just gonna dive into a geek group. That is been going on for 30 years. I talked about this so many times. Get onto Twitter, get onto Discord, and fight whatever. Put your opinions there. Okay, you don't go nowhere. Okay, great. Uh, because typically I know, the Unix types, these geek types, they've been doing that for 30 years. Like, oh, kill group, kill file, oh, this tool, oh, that tool, for 30 years. And today, that's what you get. Meerkats, they are young and naive. So let them swing in the sewage. Meerkat, how old are you? Meerkat, you are not much older. Okay, so let's get back to. I want to talk. Let's talk about something. Okay, Google Speak, Newspeak, right on time. Just when we were talking about this, guys, look at the Google Newspeak. Okay, now Google has this documentation, a style guide for programmers, for developers, at developers.google.com. Style inclusive documentation, and they are telling you how you should write documentation. Title: Avoid ableist language. Ableist. Okay. Uh, Not recommended. Before launch, give everyone a final sanity check. Okay, that's no, you shouldn't do that. Recommended is before launch, give everything a final check for completeness and clarity. Okay, so sanity check is not allowed. Okay, then another one not recommended. There are some crazy outliers in the data. No, you shouldn't say that. You should say, instead of, you should say there are some baffling outliers in the data. Okay, then another not recommended is it cripples the servers, causing a poor user experience until the key clears. Okay, the way Google says you should say the newspeak language is, you should say it slows down the servers, causing a poor user experience until the key clears. Okay, that's actually that's actually also wrong. You should not use the word poor, because poor implies poor people. It invokes the concept of poverty. So it's like you are trying to normalize the poor people as a normal state. Okay, so that's not good. Okay, you should let me correct you, Google. Let me help you. So you should not say causing a poor user experience. Okay, that's privilege talking. Okay, you guys, white people. Okay, listen. I'm a people of color. Okay, listen to me. So what you say, instead of causing a poor user experience, you should say causing a bad user experience. Okay. Let's see the next item. Not recommended. Replace the dummy variable in this example with appropriate variable. Okay. Now, the recommended way is replace the placeholder variable in this example with the appropriate variable. So that is Google's writing guide for documentation for the developers, the social justice way, cultural revolution for white people. Now, if you don't know what newspeak is, you can read it here. You can go to Wikipedia. Basically, in the novel 1984, dystopia novel, they created a language that controls your thought, essentially. And to wit, we have this Google example, controlling thought, language. And this novel, 1984, is written by this guy named, what's his name? George Orwell. Okay, so let's go to xfce, George Orwell. George Orwell has written an essay titled, okay, some of these are interesting. Okay, George Orwell, the author of 1984, has also written an essay somewhat popular titled Politics and the English Language. Okay, so I wrote a annotation of it in 2005. Now, George Orwell's essay is written in 1946. So I wrote my annotation, my version, my not criticism, but my comment on it with annotations, meaning explaining what he is saying. So I wrote my own, annotation about it. This article is fairly long, so you have to. So I think some of you are probably would be interested. So let me type it, so you can read it later. Google Okay, so there it is. Read it offline. Okay, so what else? We talk about that George Orwell. So that's about the Google Newspeak. And also, let me give you another example of newspeak. I know about these things because I study codes. I study codes, their philosophy, their tenets, their rules, how they grow, how do they do things, how do they form a code? How can someone create all these? How can someone teach that people can fly, or modern medicine is not important, or things like that? How can someone do that and become the leader of a code and people die for you? How I study these kind of things. So another perspective on of the new speak, which is a controlled language used in a group, a code typically, is, for example, Scientology. Okay, 萨利 Scientology, Tom Cruise. Now, this you are probably familiar with it because so Bartholomew, you have been censored. Your word is too. Okay. Good morning. Good evening, Justin. Uh, so let's see. Going clear Scientology and the prison belief. Tom Cruise. Okay, let's look at Tom Cruise. Now, this video has been very popular on YouTube. People post it on YouTube, so you can check it out. And then Scientology, of course, try to censor it, try to claim copyright and stuff. But uh, so this is about 2008 or something, and Google decided to leave it. Okay, so Scientology is a code that I have been involved when I was 22 for about 3 months because I worked for them, or rather contributed, unaware to me. I thought I was working for them, but actually I was, according to the paper I signed, I was volunteering church work. Okay, so I had some. I talked about this in one of my video for half an hour or an hour. You can watch that. Scientology. Just search for Xali Scientology on YouTube. And okay, so and but also because I have a interest in codes, obsession about these related topics: code, brainwashing, propaganda, marketing, persuasion, tact, psychology. All these are related about how, for example, how do I uh, persuade you to do something? How do I be a leader? What type of leaders are there? It's all related. And tact meaning being smooth, like salesmen. Like sometimes you have salespeople, they are fascinating because they can talk so smoothly. Basically, they can talk so that they make you believe or want to do what I want. That's a powerful skill. But anyway, so salesmen, code leaders, they are all related. Code leaders, they or scammers, or how they call it, some artist, scam artist. What's the word? See the his historical topic around linguistic franca. Yeah, Supper Wolf. I talked about that for 1 hour in my video, in my past video. But anyway, so I study this kind of code of thing, and yeah. So one of the thing about code is control use of language. Okay. So and anyway, so Tom Cruise in this video, Tom Cruise is a famous Scientologist. So he showed this is kind of a propaganda. Okay, Tom Cruise is trying to help Scientology to make people join the Scientology cult. And Scientology is this organization. It's very they have control. They have almost like they have full control of your language. When I was there, they have entire encyclopedias about the world. Okay, their own encyclopedia. So it's like everything you do in your life, everything you do, there is a scientific, there is a Scientology version of it that tells you what should do or what how you should decide that situation. Like they have their own encyclopedia printed, like 10 volumes or something. I'm telling you because I know. Um, and they have their own dictionary, so and they have their jargons. For example, these are a bunch of jargons. You will actually see Scientology when they talk to each other, they use, including you'll see many of them demonstrated in when Tom Cruise is talking. So you have KW, KSW, orgs, out ethics, put ethics in, criminal, okay, criminal, PTS, SP, tech. They have their own meaning to certain words. For example, tech to us it just means technology, but in Scientology's jargon it means LRH technology. It means all the Scientology policies and rules and mandates, procedures. Okay, yeah, that's a critical. You see, Scientology, the organization, just like church, actually even like Christian church or Islamic church, this cult and religion are basically they are also kind of the same thing. Typically, when religion is when it's very big, then it becomes religion. Okay, kind of the same thing. It's actually uh, not that simple to separate them, cult and religion. Like religion typically is very big. You have billions of believers, and meanwhile cult typically is smaller and typically has negative connotation. So when you become very big, the negative connotation is gone. Okay, you have religion. But anyway, religion is also very old because there are reasons why we have religion. Okay, so it's not totally it's not like totally, let's say, trash. Okay, so anyway, and it's a big topic. You have a lot of people talking about religion, what it is, what should it be, things like that. Anyway, so in Scientology they have this jargon tech, which means the Scientology tech, which means all the Scientologists policies, rules, mandates, procedures. So why do you have that? Because when you are in Scientology, they have rules about everything, about your behavior, about what you should say, what you should not cannot say, and also these jargons. You have to use these jargons, all these jargons, and also you know, so they have rules, mandates, procedures, policies, almost like a law. Like for example, U.S. law, you have law section something, chapter something. It's like you have to study law for 5 years to understand. You have volumes of law written down. In the same way, they have that in Scientology, like I mentioned, policies, rules, mandates, procedures. What happens if someone, for example me, criticize Scientology? Now, someone criticizes Scientology. I'm a Scientologist. What do I do about that? They have answers. What you should and steps to follow. So it's a big code. They are beginning to die down now because now you have, for example, you have a movie documentation that exposes Scientology. You have a lot of that on YouTube. On YouTube, you have a lot, but Scientology is so powerful that even if you are FBI, you cannot do something to it. They are actually doing many things. Now, I don't want to get sued, so let me say they allegedly do many illegal things, like even imprison people. But even if you are U.S. government, you are FBI. At one time, you cannot just go. You cannot do that because they are very powerful. They have connections. For example, they can tell. They tell the FBI head, oh, don't do that. Okay, you don't do that. Then the FBI don't do not do dare to do that. Things like that. Okay, so very powerful. And anyway, back to the about jargons and newspeak language control. So Scientologists, they have newspeak. They have their own systems of language, and here is a small collection jargons. Okay, so I have collected some of them. All these jargons. Okay, they have very specific meanings, and you go watch this video, you'll see what I'm talking about. And there are also other websites that documents everything about Scientology. I mean, this Scientology has been very, how they are bad has been very well known. So you guys already seen it. And I heard, it was banned in some countries. Was it? It's being sued in Germany, I think. It still running in Germany? Okay, so Eric says that's a good question. Eric says, Eric Carson, good morning. Do Scientologists really believe in Scientology? Yes. I studied so I studied Scientology a lot, and like I mentioned, there are many hundreds of YouTubes uh, that expose Scientology, or let's not use the word expose. That they were Scientologists. They came out, and many leaders, top leaders, second to the head. The head is David Miscavige. Okay, second leader, they came out. They talk about stories. So I watched quite a lot of it. Okay, over the years, especially in recent 5 years. So do Scientologists really believe in Scientology? Yes, basically yes. Uh, in short, but it's a bit more complex. So here's a simple way to understand what's going on. It's actually just like religion. Okay, so you could say you could ask, do Islamic people or do Christian people do they actually believe whatever Christian or Islam is saying? Yes, in general. Okay, in general, yeah. So again, you have some people do not believe that much, things like that. So, but in general, yes, Scientology believe it. That's how, and in fact, that's how this organization functions. All the people must believe it, but they actually do to at least some degree. They actually do believe it. Uh, okay. So I think I talked a lot about stuff today, and maybe that is it. Okay, 1 hour and 12 minutes. So maybe that's it. We talk about Scientology and stuff. Let's see what's going on opinions on these. What is that? That's a video I have to watch. Okay, so let me read the comments, and maybe that's it. So Bartholomew says, "Is it proven they did criminal stuff?" Yes, that's absolutely. They have killed people. Well, yeah, yeah. They have what you might say second degree murder, or they have people disappeared in Scientology. To this day, it's open information. For example, Miss Cavage's wife. Okay, you can just you can go search it right now. You'll find there are several websites. There's one website that I forgot whose name. He's also on Twitter. I follow. So for one example, okay, Miss Cavage's wife. Okay, he has a wife. Disappeared. Okay, disappeared for like 10 years now. Nobody is seeing her. It is supposedly known she is in this one of these in a mountain. Some remote mountain, and they have priests. They have so they have buildings in this remote mountain area. They have also votes, like they have a lot of money, like very powerful. So you can imagine, the billionaire, just like the other guy who suicide in jail. That guy, I don't want to mention the name. That guy, just like that guy. That's that level of reach. Okay, So they can build, they can buy the whole island, things like that. Supposedly, they can have prisons. They just put you in. Nobody knows. Okay, you cannot prove. Th- this, yeah. And you read about Scientology, you read that, you spend hours, you can see it, and you are thinking, why didn't anyone call the cops? Like, because you are seeing this woman, so they have this remote country. Let me show you some of Xali Scientology fence. Okay, let's search this fence. So they have, cottage or remote, castles or whatever. Um, and they people Scientologists live there. It's their, building or house in a remote mountain or something. But you see, things interesting. The same things interesting is that, so these two guys, they are Mike Rinder and Marty Radburn. They were the top Scientologists at the top, working directly behind the guy, and that guy just beat them. So anyway, they escaped, so they are out of Scientology now. And Miss Cabbage, his dad, also went on to an interview on this idiot guy, the Joe Rogan. So if you go search YouTube Joe Rogan Scientology, you'll find Miss Cabbage's dad was interviewed by Joe Rogan. I've also watched that. So so there's lots of videos you can see here, but actually, yeah, I've watched all of them. You see, look, this place. Okay, now this place, it says the spiked fence of Scientology, CST compound, AGP at Twin Peaks. Okay, yeah. And the spikes are facing inward. So you see, this is a fence. Normally, when you have a fence, the spikes face outside. You know, like you don't want dogs or some other people coming in, right? The spikes are facing outside. But this one, the Scientology compound, okay, the spikes are facing inward. What does that mean? That means people, you get what it means. You can guess. Spikes facing inward. Um, and I so why can't someone call the cops? Look at this. remember remember this guy, these people, this guy are billionaires, something at that level. FBI at one time, they want to raid. There's so many stories, right? So FBI at one time want to raid, you know some compound of Scientology, but they decided not to. Something like, because this is about very high level politics. I don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. It's just that, oh, FBI stopped. They don't do it anymore. So they have their own laws. They call the cops only on clear water when they are peeking into a house. Okay, so if you have a question about something you want to ask me, post my name. Okay, I'm just going to. We are about to stop in 1 minute for two, yeah, two few minutes. I'm gonna read the comments. CEO, yeah, this is the most famous Scientology related video. Okay. Today, I don't feel uh, I don't feel uh, pressure about talking about Scientology. I mean, not talking about it, because there are a lot talking about it. A lot of people, it's kind of, it's not like these days, less of an issue. Yeah, Emacs thread is a problem. Oh, that's it. Oh, yeah, I forgot about. I wanted to talk about mouse and keyboard. They are something new. Let's do that tomorrow. Taking, one day I should show. Actually, I want to show. I'm going to do push-ups. Okay. Uh, Justin says, "Have you watched documentary Inside Bill's Brain about Bill Gates?" No. I'm not too interested in Bill Gates. I don't think he knows much about anything other than being a businessman. I don't. Unlike many Unix people, they hate Bill Gates. I don't. But also, I don't think Bill Gates is that smart. You know, like some programmers. By the way, I also have Windows programmers who follows me. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, on Windows. By the way, Stack Overflow is built on Windows Tech. Okay, don't forget Stack Overflow. It's not Python, Ruby, or whatever. It's Windows technology. I don't remember what language, but anyway, it's a Windows running on Windows Server or something. So that's Stack Overflow. And yeah, so about Bill Gates, so I have some Windows developer. You have F sharp coders, functional programming language F sharp, working on Windows, and some of them, so they Bill Gates is supposedly he read a book a month or a book a week. He read a lot of books, and some people are also like that. I have some of my followers. They say, "Oh, you should." They also kind of follow this mindset of you need to read a lot of books. Like one book a month or something. I don't. I think many of them are idiots. Some of these book chanting people. I mean, also when I was young, I also have the thought, you need to read books, a lot of books, one book, a few a month, something like that. I also read my fair share, but anyway, so the thing to remember is that yeah, the purpose, the goal of reading books is not just to say, oh, I read this book, or it's about you want to grasp whatever wisdom or knowledge from the book. Okay, so it needs not even be a book. So there are people who don't read much books, but they know a lot of things. They know more than professors. you know there are such people. uh, Even mathematicians, they don't read other people, other great mathematicians book. They are such great mathematicians. It's supposedly one of the greatest mathematicians is like that. He doesn't read other people's book. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that you don't want to be a bookworm. Okay, don't just read a book. Oh, I need to read a book every day. For example, I don't read books these days. Almost I haven't been reading any books for almost 15, 20 years. Like actually reading a book. But I tend to you read Wikipedia, you can learn lots of things from uh, reading book is only one of the many ways you kind of uh, learn things. Okay, so don't I mean, so there are this class of people, quite a lot. Also, I know a lot of them are Chinese in China. They have the mentality of reading. You need to read a lot of books because it's knowledge. But don't be stupid. Okay, don't read the book. You learn things. Reading book is not a thing. Okay, there are this group of people. Their mindset is that they just need to read some books every month or something. And actually, for those of people who read a book a month, I immediately despise. Like whatever they say is probably idiotic. There are certain people on Twitter. They will say, "Oh, I read a book one a month, and this is my book." Immediately, or sometimes they take photos, show their book. These kind of people immediately, I know they don't know. They don't know things. Okay, I think that's it for today. I don't go underground. So thank you for showing instruction on how to write ableist sentences. Red thumb down sentences. Scientology. Okay. Religion. Huge quote. They have their own laws. Okay. So DP says currently reads infinite loop. Oh, why am I not Muslim? Okay, so the what Google censorship. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you guys for coming. F sharp, yeah, F sharp is it's a version of OCaml or meta language. Okay, um, thank you for coming. Hi, Meowcat, Bartholomew. Tomorrow, same time. God, Bartholomew, I said 10 o'clock for this whole week. I mean, I must directly talk to you, interacted with you about that timing issue at least twice in the past 2 days. 10 o'clock every day for this week until also including Sunday. 10 o'clock. Okay, so bye guys. Have a good day.